One of the smallest areas in the world is also one of the best places to find treasure. Oak Island is less than a mile long and sits off of Nova Scotia. It's rumored to hide an array of precious relics, but many hunters have died or failed trying. Rick and Marty Lagina are two of the latest to try. Their struggle has been documented on the History Channel show Oak Island. Keep watching as new secrets of the curse of Oak Island's Lagina brothers come to light. The Lagina brothers rehearsed for the show. Rick and Marty's interest in Oak Island began when Rick found an article about it in a 1965 edition of Reader's Digest. It laid out how the island was rumored to conceal treasures such as Captain Kidd's pirate treasure, Marie Antoinette's lost jewels, and Shakespeare's lost manuscripts. The most tantalizing of it all, and still is, the fabled money pit. Their father showed them a similar article in the Wall Street Journal, and they were hooked. Rick was the one most fascinated, with Marty going along. The brothers had always been fans of mystery adventure stories, beginning with adventure books like The Hardy Boys. Hearing about the Oak Island mystery inspired them to dig around forests in their native Michigan to find rocks and relics. They'd go dig under anything that may have an interesting story, even if they found nothing. Rick couldn't stop playing out the Oak Island mystery as often as he could. His son says he even talks about it during family events. The boys didn't know until they were much older that their childhood was almost a rehearsal for the curse of Oak Island. Buying the island versus starting the show. Rick and Marty began thinking about buying a stake in Oak Island in the 90s after meeting Dan Blankenship. A share of the island was advertised in a copy of Islands magazine. They thought they could buy the whole thing, but discovered they would only be getting lot 25. That was enough for them because it meant they could have a part of their dream. They were almost outbid by a Swiss developer, but got it anyway. They later bought even more of the island when Oak Island Tours Inc. owner David Tobias sold his shares. Persuading the brothers to buy part of the island they loved so much was simple. Getting them to do a show about it was a bit harder. Producer Kevin Burns from Prometheus Entertainment was the first to approach them. He traveled to Oak Island to speak to them directly. Marty said they, quote, really had to talk him into it. He cared more about the historical significance of the treasure than getting famous because of it. He wanted to be genuine with no embellishments. He even said the brothers weren't capable of acting even if they wanted to. Rick still doesn't watch The Curse of Oak Island. He finds it awkward to see himself on TV and admits that while he's not a fan of the show, he's a fan of Oak Island itself. Marty wears many hats. Marty Lagina became a self-made millionaire by extracting natural gas in Michigan. He began working with the Amoco production company, but decided to study law while he was there. He later founded his own company, Energy LT. It was one of the biggest in the state, and he sold it to CMS Energy for $60 million. He then started Heritage Sustainable in 2004, one of the largest providers of clean energy. Marty never practiced law, but said that ever since he was a child, he intended to go to law school because he loved talking to people. That legal knowledge helped when he founded his own companies. It saved him the money he would have had to spend on a lawyer to set them up. Marty still hadn't explored all his interests when he got into law and energy. He founded a 60-acre wine company called Mary Vineyards in Michigan. It was named after his Italian grandmother, who distilled moonshine during the Great Depression for a little extra money. He remembers her hand-hewn cellar full of wine and traditional foods and believes his passion was born in the, quote, magic of that cellar. Marty has faced hostility. Marty is an adept businessman and has plenty of fans from the show. That doesn't mean he's always been well-liked. He told Randall Sullivan, the author of a book about their famous treasure hunt, that being in the oil and gas industry has led to widespread hostility. The world felt his business was exploiting and polluting the land, even when they switched to wind energy. He says those who want to be in the energy business need to, quote, learn to live without love. They had an awkward start to their friendship with Dan Blankenship. Dan Blankenship died of natural causes at age 95 in 2019. It brought an end to his eventful life of adventure and treasure hunting. Perhaps it even fulfilled the fabled part of Oak Island's curse that said one more person had to die before the treasure could be found. Dan was a fan-favorite character for viewers. He served as a mentor, an inspiration to the Lagina brothers. That was after a rocky first few years together. They met in the 90s and set up their first pilgrimage to Oak Island. The brothers joined him on a 1,400-mile trip to meet him there, but were nervous to set foot on a place they had such a personal connection to. Dan was felling trees and seemed to barely notice them. Rick tried to break the ice by joining in, pushing over the trees he was cutting down. That lasted until they stopped and had a drink together. Dan was a bit cold and focused on business. They split the land 50-50, but Rick and Marty got the bum's rush of the island. To everyone's surprise, that was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. The most they've spent. The total cost of the Lagina brothers' Oak Island operation is unknown, but it's estimated to be high. They've had to buy a 50% share of the island and get permits, such as a treasure trove license. They also have to call in global experts to help. That's saying nothing of the technology required, such as massive drilling rigs. They can cost hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. They continue to get bigger and bigger and became massive by season 6. The second most expensive type of equipment they use may be the excavators and diggers they use to shift Oak Island's earth. The expenses have been worth it, though. They've found plenty of historically significant and worthwhile finds. Season 1 saw them unearth a Spanish 8 Maravidas coin from 1652. They also found non-indigenous coconut fibers in Smith's Cove. It hints that the fabled money pit may have originated from tropical lands. The best find may have come during Season 5. A medieval cross could literally rewrite history if it's confirmed to be from the Knights Templar. DNA sequencing supports this by proving that the human bones they dug up were from someone with Middle Eastern ancestry. The brothers saved a life. The treasure hunting methods that the Lagina brothers use are what make the show fascinating. They've always wanted it to be an educational program steeped in real history and technology. The education proved to be a lifesaver for one fan. A Texas native's house was about to sink in during Hurricane Harvey. He ordered an aqua dam like the one he'd seen in the show, and it did the trick. He was the only house on his block that was saved. Don't think the brothers don't work. Following a job on reality shows can make viewers forget how hard they are. The level of separation the screen provides might make you think the Oak Island treasure hunt is just digging a few holes for a few hours, but it's much more than that. It also doesn't matter that they leave in the summer when conditions on the island make it impossible to dig. They work as hard as anyone else when they're around. Rick said in an interview they spend at least 5 months on the island from May through October, only leaving when the cold weather moves in. He estimates he works 5 days a week for 10 to 12 hours a day. That's not counting any extra hours spent on research. He was asked if he gets downtime and said the treasure hunt is all-consuming. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think the Lagina brothers will ever find their hidden treasure? Let us know in the comments section below.